Hello there, my crypto big brothers and sisters. How are you? Glad you're joining Papa Ron and me. We've been having a discussion. Ron had to cut out a lot of stuff for him. I
Yeah.
get too mad.
We started this one over, folks. It was just too far out there. But we were going to put this video, this article into the previous video, but Rod suggested we just do a separate video on it. So if you don't want to listen to our points of view on some of this, you don't have to. But there's actually the two main players in this article. One is the state of Minnesota, and the other main fact in this is the refugees from Somalia, South Africa. And I guess the government since 2016 or 15 even has been bringing these Somalian refugees into our country. And Minnesota has ended up with the largest community or amount of Somalians out of all the states. I think they have, the article said, 57,000 Somalian refugees. And of course, we have state programs that want to assure their existence and their smooth transition, so we give them social services, at least the state of Minnesota does, pretty freely. They're on food assistance, medical care. They're on child care, meaning like daycare centers for their children, if and when they get jobs. And so Minnesota's been pretty good about supporting these people that have been assigned them from our federal government. Now, folks, the purpose of this video isn't to pick on refugees or some of the charitable attributes that we as Americans give these refugees and help them. We know there's legitimate situations that we are behind. But Minnesota seems to have such a fraud going on that Rod and I talked about, and we wanted to kind of bring it to everybody's attention. It's a mess. Any comments yet, Rod? You've been pretty well behaved.
Yeah, I'm trying to bite my tongue.
Okay. So here's the story, folks, and let me give you a few of the key points in this. Evidently, and this was new to me, I didn't know that you could take over $10,000 cash through a airport out of country. But evidently, if you fill out the form that says, "Hey, I'm taking this cash home from the United States to my country to help family and this and that," that it's legal.
Now wait a minute. Now, I got to ask you a question on that.
Okay.
So you're telling me that the support that we're giving some of the Somalian people in Minnesota, that the state support gives them, they don't use it and they cash it in?
That's where we're headed with this, yes. So
cash?
I want to set the yes. Let me set the precedence of this airport deal so folks can understand it.
Okay.
Evidently, through Seattle's the main airport to fly to South Africa, I believe. At least in the article it depicts that. And they have, I mean, this just doesn't happen once. Over $100 million in 2017 has left through the Seattle airport headed to South Africa, Somalia. 100 million. And most of these suitcases, when they go through customs, drop, they have $1 million cash in that carry-on luggage. And as long as they fill out the form, they legally can take $1 million out of our country in cash. Why this hasn't set up any alarm bells yet? So I'm going to tell you the facet of how this has kind of been working, at least what the article's been saying. And folks, we'll put the article down in the description box. So yeah, and what finally happened was these $1 million cash suitcases have been coming through, and it did set up some alarm bells. And so I think it was a couple reporters that finally started investigating into this. And the Refugee Act, of course, was signed in 1980 by Senator Ted Kennedy and former Senator Joe Biden. Bless their hearts. But and there's been a big uprise before all this came about. And one was is that on the daycare center aspect of this fraud is some of these women, it could be men too, they set up daycare assistants, and then they have the Somalian, because they're the same nationality, they have these families sign up for daycare for their children, and they turn that bill into the state, and then they get a check because they're low income, they're a refugee, so the state pays for their child care while they're here in our country, at least if they meet the financial requirements. So then the daycare center gets all these government state checks, and they cash them, and they give the percentage back to the family with the children because it's a con. And then they stockpile this cash, and then once they hit a certain amount, they fly back home, and most of this $100 million they claim has been going to terrorist groups. Huge amounts of money. Yeah, it's mind-boggling when you start thinking about it. This is the state of Minnesota, Rod. And what's the population of Minnesota? Nothing.
I have not. Yeah,
well, I don't know. I mean, so and who is in the oversight department? Isn't there no checks and balances? Is nobody accountable? I mean, who sits at these desks and writes out all these checks? I know the computer does. But somebody's got to authorize it. Somebody's got to manually take that invoice from the daycare center and put it into the computer. And they don't day after day saying, man, that's a lot of money going to some Somalian daycare centers in this city.
No kidding.
Yeah, well, are we, us as Americans, we've got to be the stupidest people on the face of the planet. We are so gullible.
Wait a minute now. That, the head of that committee is probably maybe he's a Somalian.
Well, I didn't think of that, but they got a hold of it, and they actually filmed these families showing up with their children, getting their children on the program, and then taking their kids back home, and the kids never come back to the center. So they actually have documentation how this has just been a big scam, and whether all $100 million is coming from the daycare centers, I don't know. We'll put the article if you want, but check this out. When they made the first bust, kind of funny because the lady, one of the oh yeah, this gal right here. I'm going to bring this back over and share screen, Rod.
Okay.
Dang it, I just lost my thing.
You got excited.
Full screen that. Share screen. It's coming, folks. It's coming. Hang on. Hang tight, baby. It's coming. Oh, no, I don't need it. I'll share screen. The share screen is just for you, Rod, and you're already sharing screen.
Yeah. I'm always sharing screen.
Yeah, all I got to do is find my other thing now.
I see it on the
Here it is right here. Pull this back over here.
Oh, okay.
Now
I see. I see, said the blind man.
There we are. Now we got it.
There you go.
Okay, this lady here is being sworn in. Her name is Fozia Ali. She's being sworn in to be a daycare center. She performed the proper licensing and all. They found records that she was collecting a significant amount of money for a much larger number of children than were initially attending the center. So they're doing some okay, now here. Investigators analyzed Ali's cell phone to track her activities and found that she had taken a 2-month trip from Minnesota to Dubai and then Kiena, staying at times in $800 a night hotel rooms.
Oh my hell.
So she not only taking all the money home to who knows who, but she is living the lifestyle on her way, baby. She used an app on her cell phone to bill the state of Minnesota for child care services while she was out of the country.
Oh my hell.
She pled guilty, and of course she's in jail right now. I don't know for how long. I wish they would have said that too, what the sentence was. You got all these dang liberal judges just slapping people on the hand. It says here that they have 10 daycare centers currently under active investigation for fraud. showing each one of the suspect centers has received several $million in child care assistance funds. Most are owned by Somalia immigrants. Now, folks,
you know, and if it happened in Minnesota, how many other states are they in? Doing the same dang thing.
And other programs. I know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But here's
and other immigrants from other countries.
Yeah.
You know they're taking advantage of us.
Sure they are. I mean, look at and I'm not picking on any certain group, but look at the food stamp, or now they call it SNAP, the SNAP program, and how that's abused in our country. And we can go on and on about this. Here's the point I wanted to make on this, Rod. And yeah, I'm frustrated and mad as double HE double toothpicks about this, but I'm more mad at our government and we as a people that just take this all the time and never do nothing about it, and let these stupid government officials, whether it be city, county, state, or federal, do whatever the hell they want. Where is the accountability? But yet, if you get behind on your taxes, Rod, and don't pay them, they're going to be all over your ass.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and they'll threaten you and everything else. But yet, you get into these
government. They'll give it away like crazy. The people who don't even work for it.
That drives you nuts too.
Yeah, you know what happened? What happened to work for what you get? You know, the welfare system is so
corrupt,
so freaking corrupt and messed up. Why can't we have you sweep the street and get some money for that? You know, work for what you get. You know, these people just lay around in the street. You know, you got all these homeless people. I'll tell you what I used to call them, but we got all these homeless people. And Ron would cut me off if I started telling you what I really thought. But you know, the homeless people are around, and we just give them money to just lay around. You know, work for something. You know, if you don't work, you don't get nothing.
There's plenty of videos.
Clean the dang parks out that they're messing up. You know, it's just simple. It's really simple.
Economics is all it is.
Yes.
And as a sideline to this, Rod, and you're from Texas, did you know in Texas, the state law there is that if a woman comes in to have a baby, you cannot question her about her legal status in the states or that state, and you also can't refuse her care. So pregnant women are coming across the southern part of the border and coming up into these hospitals in Houston and stuff and having all these kids for free. And there's articles, these hospitals are going broke because they're delivering so many babies that automatically get U.S. citizenship. They're going broke based on that, the state of Texas. It's a nightmare. Again, folks, we're not picking on any...
I think I read in that article, California too. But California's always been...
They're finally getting some of their citizens to uprise about this sanctuary state business because they're tired of funding the bills on all this stuff too. It's bankrupting everybody.
It is.
Well, anyway, it's not about the individuals that need the help, folks. It's about how stupid we are and how we organize and do these programs.
I don't mind helping people, but God, man, make them help themselves. Well, what's that old saying? Go catch some fish and give somebody, or teach them how to fish, and they can live forever that way. You know, I don't know. It's just so frustrating, and that's why Ron and I were laughing about, because I was really getting off, and Ron had to stop the video when we.
This is our second take, folks. The first take, it was a mess.
I was remembering everything all the words that I remembered in the military.
Folks, I don't know. We're just tired of where this country and the world's headed. It's so pro-elitist and bankers and the big money men, and God, I don't know. We just
get the word out.
Yeah.
Just get the word out not to reelect anybody. Oh, boy.
And quit being so just lackadaisical about everything. This is serious stuff. We're going to wake up one day and we'll be like China. They'll have a camera on every corner watching every move we make. We don't want that, do we, in here?
Oh, no.
Or in any country.
Yeah,
Europe is getting very bad with this, too. I'm telling you.
They sure are.
All right, Rod, back to you.
And they're giving all their money away, too, to all the immigrants. Germany and Spain and
it just makes you wonder. There is an agenda behind all this. They want to deculturalize. We don't want to be known as Americans or Swedens or Germans. We want to be known just as citizens of this global type. So yeah, they want to deculture. They don't want our culture around. They want to take every bit of our cultural history and do away with it. So we're neutral, so we can be moving towards a one world type situation. Now I'm really getting off into conspiracies.
Yeah.
I might cut that part off too.
Okay. Well, folks, we appreciate you joining us and appreciate you being around for us to rat and rave a little bit about the things we see, because, you know, I can't stand liberalism, and that's the way we are. And God bless.